Greenland India's Mining Weekly Online is talking to Peter Steenkamp, the CEO of Harmony Gold. Peter, can you update us on the situation, the state of Harmony Gold at the moment? Are you achieving your targets? Are you going to get to that great figure of 1.5 million ounces of gold a year?
Yeah, thank you, Martin. Yes, we're well on track as far as that is concerned. I mean, the two big steps that we have to make was, first of all, the acquisition of Hidden Valley and the recapitalisation of Hidden Valley. That's behind us now. We, in actual fact, are very close to get to full commercial production of Hidden Valley now. So we probably in the next month we'll be there. And then the second thing is that we would, it was the acquisition of Moab Khotsong, which we managed to get into our stable on the 1st of March. So we've got now 2 months of Moab Khotsong behind us, and so far it's been going very well. We are very happy, pleased with what we saw there. We are in the process of integrating the mine as part of Harmony, we'll probably do it by the end of this financial year, everything integrated. So that together with a few other projects like the CPR surface project and all the other things will take us to the 1.5 million ounces.
And will that be the next figure that you report, or will we get it this year sometime?
Well, we hope to do it in the next financial year. We're still busy with the planning process, so we haven't finalized the planning process, but it will be great if we can actually get to that level of production by the next financial year.
And it seems as though the acquisition of Moab Khotsong has done something good for your grades. Your average grade should rise with that acquisition. Can you just tell us why and how that happens?
Yeah, I mean, that asset is a much better grade asset than we normally used in Harmony. So obviously we have a Bombanani, which is more or less on the same scale, but obviously a much smaller mine. But this is certainly a quality asset and a quality ore body, and we haven't seen that type of grades in Harmony for many years. So we are quite happy to have one of those type of assets in our portfolio.
And I see on your website you're looking at a grade of about 5.7 across the company, benefiting from this higher grade at Moab.
Yeah, that will be the increase on the average grade of the company from 1.3 to about 1.7. So that certainly has been quite a kick up.
And in terms of now Papua New Guinea versus South Africa, normally we think of Harmony Gold being like more than 90% South Africa. What is that? How is that ratio likely to change going forward?
Well, for now, we only have the one mine, Hidden Valley, and then we have the project called Golpu. So the mine will be over 15% to 20% of our production will come from Hidden Valley. But the rest of the operations is really South African. Obviously, we are very excited about the Golpu project. The project is now, the final feasibility study is now been, we've done that, and we've in actual fact announced the outcomes of that, and certainly we're now in the process of permitting in Golpu. Now, that certainly, if that mine comes into production, that it will be obviously swing a lot more to Papua New Guinea's production.
And what is the life outlook? How long has Harmony got in front of it in South Africa, and how long will it have in Papua New Guinea?
Well, our mines in South Africa, we probably lose about 400,000 ounces in 5 years' time. So we need to replace that in some other way. The other thing is obviously that we have in Papua New Guinea have a very, very long life. If Golpu comes onto stream 2023, then that mine has got a 30-year life, and a very good life, a very, very productive, profitable life. But if you look at South Africa, I mean, we do have a few long life assets. We have Joel in the Free State, we have the Tsapong operations in the Free State, and we have Doornkop which is the longer life assets in South Africa. And obviously now with Moab Khotsong, we also inherited the potential Zypas project. So that gives us some long life operations in South Africa. But certainly we need to get something more sustainable for the future, and something that we need to focus on in the next few years.
And are you still looking at Africa as a potential entry point for activity?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, we always say that, and we kind of never get there. And we understand it's not going to be easy to get into Africa, but certainly the national frontier for us will be Africa, and we certainly would like to pursue that. We've now, in the meantime, we've pursued others. We said Papua New Guinea, South Africa, and the rest of Africa, and we did now 2 projects one in Papua New Guinea and then also now in South Africa. So that was the expansions that we've done. So certainly, we'd like to get into Africa, but we just don't have our plans are not that concrete yet in terms of getting there.
In terms of South Africa, it's always been very people intensive. Is that the way you're going to have to continue to mine with the sort of ore bodies that confront you? Or are there possibilities of modernizing in some way or other these deep level mines in South Africa?
There's always a scope for modernization, but I think our biggest strength that we had over the years is to work with our people and work with the stakeholders in South Africa. We've been able to be quite successful as far as that's concerned. We certainly see now with the Moab Khotsong transaction, we did the Section 11 fairly quickly, and we're very proud of how we've dealt with that. But South Africa, it's very difficult to modernize old mines, but there are some stuff that we can do, like tracking and tracing, talking to people, communication. There's also, the whole robotics that is currently busy with developments. And certainly there will be a time when we can apply some of those technologies in our mining, I think. But I think where we are is old mines. It's certainly mines that's been established. We have no brand new mines that we develop. And certainly from our side we have to do. But there are many things that we're doing in terms of making sure that we get more energy efficient and all the other kind of things that one would never see. But I mean, there's a huge amount of work that we've done in terms of optimizing ventilation circuits, optimizing logistics, the way in which we currently do rail-bound tracking at the moment, or operating at the moment, is totally different than we did many years ago.
And Harmony has traditionally been a buyer of mines in South Africa rather than a builder of mines in South Africa. But in Papua New Guinea, you seem to have attitude of it being a builder of mines. Is there that difference between South Africa and Papua New Guinea? Will you continue to be a buyer in South Africa and a builder in Papua New Guinea, or are you prepared to build if you get to the Potch Gap or the Poortville Gap and find something?
Yeah, I mean, we will. Certainly, I don't personally shy away from building mines. I've been building quite a lot of mines in my life, so not shying away from that at all. I think what we don't give Harmony a lot of credit for is that they actually were able to develop many of the ore bodies that they inherited over time when they bought them. They actually extended the life of mines by either developing their declines. A typical example is the Tsepong Pakisa mine that is actually being put into production by Harmony. And it's currently continues to be, we actually keep on developing the declines and actually creating more reserves for ourselves. So we are very good at that type of capital expenditure. Not major big shaft sinking, but it is a constant project development of the mines. So I think people don't give it a lot of credit for that, but we've been quite successful in doing that over the years. So getting back to Papua New Guinea, I mean, obviously building a mine like that is I would say it's technically very challenging. It's obviously the environment is quite challenging in terms of, Papua New Guinea is a difficult place to obviously operate in. But having said that, this particular mine is in a very good place, very close to the port of Lae. So you have port facilities, you have port facilities there. You've got, we don't have to build that many roads to get to the mine. Actually, you have to cross 2 rivers, very big rivers, to get to the mine. But other than that, it is actually, as far as Papua New Guinea goes, it's actually quite an easy project to build, compared to the typical Hidden Valley that we built in the past, etc. So we're quite confident that we will do well as far as that's concerned. I think we also have a very good partner that operates with us in Papua New Guinea, especially with Gulper. We will have, Newcrest is a company that's been building these mines quite successfully over the years, and we certainly will also lean on them to help us and assist.
And do they actually do the mining as well, or do you get involved in mining activities yourselves?
No, we, at the moment, we're a JV. We work at a 50-50 basis. We will look at that and see what is the right kind of management structure that will take it forward. But we certainly are intending to be a 50% partner.
But it's more open cast activity there, different style of mining. Is it heavily mechanized, or are you envisaging great mechanization?
That will be mechanized. It's block caving. Gulper will be a block caving mine. And then obviously Hidden Valley at the moment is an open cast mine, and it's very highly mechanized, and both of them will be highly mechanized mines. And
can we learn anything from them, or can there be anything that's applied? These are new mines. Can there be anything transferred to South Africa, or our deep, dark, and sometimes dangerous mines just totally different?
Well, I think from many of the things that we can do is typically in logistics and those type of things. We can obviously learn from one another. We obviously have a total different ore body in South Africa than we have there. We have tabular ore bodies here, and we have these blocks that we can mine in Papua New Guinea, which makes a total different type of ore body to mine. It's typically what we'll have in Palabora, that type of mine. So that is what we will certainly have in Papua New Guinea. So getting back to the mines, I mean, there are quite a few undeveloped areas. The one area is probably the most glaring one at the moment that's out there to be mined is the Target North part of it. I mean, that has been drilled for quite a few years. Harmony stopped drilling exploration holes in 2007. We actually got the prospecting right now incorporated into the target mining right. So we in actual fact have no security of tenure there, and we in actual fact this year will start with more drilling, surface drilling from that area to establish the Target North, or see if there's a potential for a mine in Target North. But that's certainly, we're quite excited about it, and to be quite honest. The things that we've seen so far doesn't look bad at all. But that's a deep level gold mine that will have typically mining a cut on top in terms of the distressing of the massives, and there's two massives typical what we had at Target. There's two of those that we can still mine in that what they call the Dreiskel massives that we can mine in that Target North area.
And do you envisage a lot of organic growth now, or are you still acquisitive? Is there anything on the horizon that you see that excites you?
Well, we still have, with those filters that we've put in place and what we said that we want to do, we still haven't resolved our long-term, production levels. We say we still have this cliff in front of us 5 years, so we need to find the right way how are we going to be able to cope with that. That can be organic. Some of that will be organic, but some obviously we won't find enough organic growth in Harmony itself as we speak at the moment, other than to maybe look at also doing some acquisitions. But for now, we've done the acquisitions. We're not trying to. We want to first of all incorporate that into our mine, making sure it works well. Don't take too many steps at one time, and then take it from there.
And why has Moab Khotsong been your meat, whereas it was AngloGold Ashanti's poison, and that they wanted to offload it? I mean, what do you see there that you can do that they couldn't do?
Well, I think, I don't want to talk on behalf of AngloGold Ashanti, but I mean, there certainly is a much better quality ore body that we've got. So that in itself helps us a lot to create our future for ourselves. It also has a nice project that is still there, which is not a too expensive project that can be developed. And then certainly we believe that we've got a lot of experience in shaft pillar extraction. I think Harmony in total has done more than 15 shaft pillars that they extracted in their lifetime. And certainly the Great Neligwa pillar is quite a big high-grade pillar. We believe that can bring, which was not necessarily in the life of mine plan, the current life of mine plan of AngloGold Ashanti. They probably would have taken it at the end of the mine. But the Zyplast project is a good project. And then obviously there's still the isolated reserve blocks that we have there. We have quite a few of them. There's lots of mining to be done. And if we can bring 50% of the resource in the isolated reserve blocks into the mining plan, then we have a 10-year life mine at Moab. The Moab pillar will be tricky in the sense that we probably have to do quite a few waste cuts and things like that. We're busy with the design at the moment. But certainly it is a very good high-grade pillar. We've extracted, I think, all the pillars in the Vaal River area. I've been involved in the extraction of them, all of them. There's none of them that has been extracted that I was not involved with. So we do have a very, very skillful team in terms of a pillar extracting team. There's been quite a lot of experience in that, and that is always helpful when you do these type of projects.
Now, uranium also pops up with Moab Khotsong, fairly substantial volumes. What is your ambition for that?
Martin, at the moment, the uranium is really breaking even at this point in time. We're certainly trying to get our hands around how we're going to take this forward. At the moment we are selling the uranium to the old contracts that was part of the AngloGold NAFCO arrangements. We have a person now that we internally that we're now trying to get up to speed in terms of trying to understand the uranium business a lot better and see how we can take it forward. I don't have no ambitions at this time of thinking there's dripping roast there. It is just a question that at this point in time, with the extra recoveries that we get out of the uranium plant from gold recoveries, it actually is on a break-even situation.
And have you mined uranium elsewhere? Is this the first time you've come on?
Well, yeah, well, we've been involved when we were the old Vaal Reach. We mined quite a lot of uranium, and I think it's actually the only other place in South Africa where there's still uranium plants going. Harmony certainly didn't have uranium plants for quite a while now.
And how are you finding the gold price at the moment and the rand strength? What sort of challenges are being presented because of that?
Well, the dollar price has not been too bad. We are quite happy with the dollar price. The rand obviously strengthened a lot and has now weakened a little bit further. We knew that this possibly could happen, so we still have quite a lot of hedges in front of us that we've put into place at that stage when we were there in terms of other currency hedges, probably another 6 or 7 months of that. And then obviously the price, the gold price, rand gold price hedges has been quite good for us. But we certainly need to adjust to our new reality and making sure that we are getting to the right cost structures, making sure that we mine these mines at profitable spot prices and sustainably in that way. So we have got a tough planning process that we're going through at the moment. The unfortunate part that we had is that we didn't have to knee-jerk quickly because we had still good prices going for us. So we could take our time, do a proper planning process, making sure that we do it in an orderly fashion. And we already made some adjustments. The Unicell, we stopped all the basal mining, all the leader reef and secondary reef mining. We're only mining the basal. So we have a much smaller plan at Unicell, and that Unicell will probably last for another year and a half if we're lucky.
And seismics is also a worry when you are mining at depth there, and it seems to me there's no guarantee that anyone can give with today's technology that they'll be able to predict some sort of seismic event and evacuate. Is this a risk that you've just got to live with?
No, we have to do something about it, and we have to find the right ways of mining. So we're actually very successful in managing seismicity for quite a while in the industry. We of late, in the last year, we had quite a few incidents in all the different companies in South Africa where there was quite big events. And in our case, we had a big Kusasalethu event. The Kusasalethu event, after all the information and investigations we've done, we know what the mechanisms that went wrong there, and we know we can cater for that. So we're quite happy that if we don't create a similar situation like that in the future, that we should not have the same thing. I think one of the challenges that we do have is as an industry is how we can precondition better. The preconditioning has been very successful in deep level mines, especially in the far west, like the Kusasalethu, Mpuning and those type of mines. And we've been able to quite successfully with preconditioning manage seismicity much better than we did in the past. Now the preconditioning, we probably can take it to the next level and find different ways of doing that. To that effect, we as an industry has now, through the CEO's safety initiative in the chamber, have now commenced quite a big program to focus on seismicity and how to manage seismicity and to find the best technologies out there and to rethink our way of looking at seismicity. So we were quite disappointed with the industry's, of late, quite a few big events, and certainly we need to find a way to get past them. We cannot just accept that that's a fact. I mean, we cannot accept that, and we certainly would stop the mines rather than to continue mining if that's the case. So certainly I believe that we can have the technologies and the ways and actually the rock engineering technologies and also know-how to be able to do that. And to that effect, Harmony has been quite involved in the rock engineering chair at Turkish University to sponsor that, to make sure that we have the right type of research being done to be able to model these things much better and to understand our seismicity a lot better and actually to mine the reserves that is currently still available, deep level reserves that is available in South Africa. And I think we're going to get quite a lot of good research being done at that initiative.
And what steps have to be taken to precondition in order to mitigate this threat of seismicity?
Our current practice is really to precondition with longer holes in the panels. So as you mine, you will actually precondition the panels just in front of you. So you actually crack up the panel in front of you so you don't have face bursts, that's the big issue that you obviously have in those deep level mines. There are some thinking through some of the research that's been done of late is to do preconditioning much, to precondition the pillars or the areas much further into the thing. So drilling long holes and actually preconditioning these things much ahead of the face, much further ahead of the face. Now that's not been tested yet, and we certainly are looking for testing sites probably with the right level of technologies to make sure that we can at this point in time do the preconditioning better than we're currently doing. Remember, it's around about in the 2005, 2004, preconditioning became very popular, and all the deep level mines in the far west area started to do preconditioning. It was quite an issue or quite a process to get it into place to make sure that the crews constantly do preconditioning. And I think by doing that, the industry has done a lot to mitigate some of the seismicity that used to be in there in the past. And certainly going forward, we need to find better ways to do this and even precondition better than we currently are doing.
You're quite resolute to defeat this problem, but you also say that if you can't defeat it, you will close the mines.
Well, we cannot continue to have mines that is unsafe, or that we don't not 100% sure that we can actually mine them safely. And again, I don't think we do have the technologies and we do have the ways of doing it. And there are many other things that have been developing by the CSIR in terms of monitoring rock and things like that. That all of that, I think, going forward, we'll have a way to be able to mine it. But certainly, if we can not find a way of mining it, then we can't mine it.
And the world hasn't got to the depth that we've got, so we've got to really develop a solution ourselves here in South Africa, and it's a major challenge. Do you think we are a long way along that road already?
Well, we've always been in that same situation. I mean, we've been able to do all the different things that, to actually be mining at depth. I mean, if you think about all the kind of groundbreaking type of initiatives that were taken over time, preconditioning is one of them. There's also the kind of, the meshing and lacing of infrastructure, which is very prominent in the Vaal River area, because there you have different type of mechanisms of failure there, that we've been able to mine safely, much safer than we used to mine in the past, by doing these things. So our rock engineers is probably, the top of the class. We certainly have some of the best rock engineers and the best skills in the world to be able to deal with these things. We've got one of definitely the best skills as far as seismologists are concerned. And certainly we sit in a situation that we don't find a way to do it, then nobody else will be able to find it. But we know where else in the world, apparently there's some mines in China, so that there's also deep level mines, but nobody's got the problems that we have or the challenges that we have. So we have to just be able to deal with it, and we need to find ways to do that.
And this is an issue where the whole industry works together without competing. Is that not correct?
Absolutely. I think the MOSH initiatives that we started some time ago through the Zero Harm CEO initiative and the Chamber of Mines has been an unbelievable working together and sticking together and trying to find solutions to all the problems. And if we think about all the things that were developed over the time, were very, very good practices. Even in coal, even in gold mines, and some of these, had huge impacts in terms of our industry. For instance, netting and bolting, all our working places. It is a huge impact that it had on productivity and all the other kind of things. But we took these bold steps to be able to keep on continue mining in South Africa.
That was Green Media's Mining Weekly Online, speaking to Peter Steenkamp, the CEO of Harmony Gold.